Hey, family. Welcome back to Mantle Motivations podcast with your host, me, Dominique Bishop. This is part two of our special Women's History Month feature, Getting Jazzy with Jocelyn Winston. If you thought part one brought the vibes, get ready. We're diving deeper into Jocelyn's journey as an educator, mentor, and soulful powerhouse. Let's get into it.
Yeah, sure enough. I was gonna say WGCI. Come on now.
3. You can't get away from that.
You
That's
can't.
ours.
Power 92. Yeah.
That's ours. Listening to gospel music on Sundays. That's ours.
Yeah.
Listening to the broadcast coming on Channel 38, Fellowship, Reverend Clay Evans, Saturday Night Live. That's ours.
That part. That part. The Awakening. Do you remember The Awakening?
Liberty on Channel 38. That's
Yes.
ours. New Direction. That's ours. Walter Women and the Soul Children. That's ours. You're not going to
History.
get away from that. You can't.
That part. You can't. You can't. So I and I understand because there has to be a line. There has to be a line somewhere. I feel because sometimes you can go a little bit over too far to the left or to the right and be influenced. And then if you come back, you're not the same you was when you went over there. You know what I mean? So people have to be careful. But I do understand why certain artists do certain things. And of course, I don't judge. And if they feel like, you know, right. We listen and we don't judge. But if they feel like that's something that they were called, because I don't know what God told them. You know what I mean? I don't know. That could have been a form of outreach, or that could have been a way that he wanted to speak somebody through Kirk and Glorilla or um, Tasha and Nikki. You know what I'm saying? So I listen and I don't judge. But at the same time, just like you, I grew up and believing in righteousness. And we were taught it's a line, baby. It's a line.
I think so as an artist growing up,
Mhm.
dance, theater, music, there's a level of accountability that I have. I've been working in education since a teenager,
Yeah.
Sunday school, helping with children's church. Grandma was big on service. So
Mhm.
I didn't have that. I didn't have the breakaway to say, I'm not going to do it at all because I was still raised and practiced in it. So I say all that
Yeah.
to say, being in education, I have to be careful of how I'm exposed. I don't want my students saying, well, Miss Winston, you be talking about us not cussing, but everyone, am I for number mama?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to be careful. And
So
real quick, since you brought that up, because I was gonna bring it up a little later, but I know we're talking a lot about music, but just like your band, Eclectic Soul, you yourself are eclectic. Like you said, theater, dance, right? So let's talk a little bit like about that. I know you say you've been doing it since high school, right?
actually earlier than that.
Earlier than that, since you were a kid. That's right.
Yeah. Born in
Show
it.
enough, show enough, show enough. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the theater is another world. You're auditioning, you are learning rejection early. You're
Hmm.
learning lines, you're learning blocking. Somebody's going to talk to you in not the most kindest of ways, and you can't allow that to take you off the fact that you have a show to pull off with singing
Right.
attached to it. Um, watch the greats do it. Very happy to had been raised in that environment,
Mm-hmm.
being able to learn music in 6 weeks, learn your script in 5 weeks, learn your blocking in less than that because they're going to change something.
Right.
How does
And
that?
probably the same day.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, yeah. Yes, you know that place where you were supposed to go. Okay, you're not going to go there anymore. Do this, and you're like, okay, write that down. So
Right.
with the new generation talking about I want to be an actress and a singer and a dancer, and I'm like, okay, you're constantly learning. You can't get to a point where shut up talking to me or don't talk to me like that because your director's going to call you an idiot. Are you leaving? Are you walking off the stage because they called you an idiot or you feel that they've mistreated you, they talked to you wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody yelled at you because you came in too early? Don't come in on that line. You forgot and you're mad. No, you can't get upset. You can't.
Tough skin. Tough skin.
And it's
Yeah.
taught me to be very mindful. As I've gotten older, I've learned some lessons of when to clap back, when to talk
Mm-hmm.
back, when to not. Contracts are not right. People have not paid you on time.
Mm-hmm.
People have asked you to do certain gigs and they've not paid you in the amount of work that you've done. So,
Right.
what
Right.
lessons are you walking away from that? And as a woman, it definitely comes across like, okay, I did the same work that he did. Why is it he getting more than I am? And he's late all the time and blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that will definitely make or break you
Yeah.
in this business.
Let them know don't play with me.
Please have my money, please and thank you.
That part.
And thank you.
Speaking of eclectic, as the front row woman for Eclectic Soul, how do you lead with intention and create space for creativity among your bandmates?
I like my bandmates to take the reins, learn the songs, make them yours, but let's not get too far off. Case in point, if I have a gig, it's okay. There's plenty of instrumentals for you to play. You don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to play songs that I'm either going to sing or vocalist songs unless you're going to put a nice spin to it. I like my musicians learn because I've gotten spoiled, us being kids that grew up in a church and coming from a musically inclined family. Our grandfather played with Miles Davis.
Hmm.
Our kinfolk played with big name people. So with that
Yeah.
being said, we did our homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did our homework. Uncle Squeeze was like, do your homework, listen to things that are really going to channel your creative juices to say, okay, if I listen to My Funny Valentine, um I can take a Kanye song that he sampled and take
Hmm.
that beat and do a jazz rendition of My Funny
Hmm.
Valentine and
Okay.
hit it.
I know that sound good.
It's a song from his second um project, and it has a nice sample to it, and it actually samples from My Funny Valentine, but I take that whole sample but then take that song but then fuse the bridge in My Funny Valentine and then go back to the Kanye song. I'm coined, as they say, the remix queen. I can take a song and remix it and add house to it, add a little gospel to it, and make it
That's
my
dope.
own. So I like getting
And
creative with music.
and that's a good trait to have because um you don't always, as being a listener, you don't always want to hear the same thing all the time. And as being a musician myself, you don't always want to play the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? Um, you you want something different. You want to have fun with the music. You want to move around.
Absolutely. You don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
sing the song like somebody else sang the song.
Make
You
it your
know,
own, like you said.
My Funny Valentine has been done, but Chaka Khan did a different rendition with Babyface than the actually original that Ella Fitzgerald has a whole verse before
Hmm.
the actual song that I've got a chance to perform with Miles Tate for
Yeah.
his jazz um recital at Roosevelt University. So it
Mhm.
helps to have creative friends that aren't scared to go that extra mile, to learn
Yeah.
different songs, be songs that sound just as great, but they're not played often.
Hmm.
What's that artist that you're listening to? What's that song that you're listening to?
Yeah.
Make you
Good.
think, you know?
That part. Yeah. Good. Good. Keep the mind working. So Eclectic Soul, it tailors performances to clients' needs, as we spoke about earlier. How does that flexibility reflect the adaptability women often bring to their professional and personal lives?
Eclectic Soul as a band is different because they're not going to sound like everybody. So you're not
Hmm.
going to just get an R&B situation. As Eclectic Soul, as an artist, as a person that has a background of so much, I like my band to replicate what I've done. I don't like a band or a musician to seem stuck.
Hmm.
For women, we wear different hairstyles, different clothing. For right now, this is hip hop because it's an old school Adidas. But if I'm
Hmm.
going to bring another form of old schoolness, I might not wear this jogging suit. I might put on a Kango with a different style t-shirt and find me a gold a chain.
Yeah.
Or another thing of hip hop, I might find, a different polo. Polos were very, very popular. So with eclectic, I know, right? With eclectic soul, and even as a musician, drummers have a feel. Drummers have
Hmm.
a style. Guitarists
Yeah.
have a feel. Guitarists have a style. A bass player. Everybody has their own style. So I like to bring that for eclectic soul so the client can feel like, hey, I got a well-rounded band. When I do a wedding, I don't want my bride to be bored. Or I don't want her groomsmen to be like, oh, she could play something else.
You want something for
I like my
everybody.
client to say, oh, she played my song, she played your song, and she played mama's song too. Like I have to learn where them fans at. I have to learn that for a wedding because mama wants the song played. But I
There
know we're
you
probably gonna do something different where that fans at. So
go.
who
Hmm.
knows?
Also, y'all gonna make another arrangement for it?
We're gonna do something because I can't just get up there just sounding like the record.
That part. That's right, remix queen.
We're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to win
I'm
them
gonna have to
fans
hear
at
that.
another.
Y'all gonna have to record because I want to hear that. Because I did learn the line dance. I couldn't help it. I learned it. Um, I couldn't help it. I learned it. I would love to hear you all's rendition of "Boots on the Ground." That would be dope. Um, all right, so your sound is inspired by legends like Aretha Franklin and, like we said, Ella Fitzgerald. How do you carry their legacy into your performances today?
Oh my gosh. So those just to name a few, I like to channel all of the people that I listen to and just go for it.
Yeah.
I go for it. I like to be able to allow the musicality and not get so stuck to where I can't try different things.
Hmm.
I noticed that when I play with different people, different keyboard players that are in my eyes Now, I
Mm-hmm.
don't throw this word anointed around loosely.
Mm.
That's kind of like churchy. But if I could say gifted or anointed,
Yeah.
person on the keyboard and how they are taking the song in the direction, if they hear something or hear where I'm going, I like them to, you know, take the lead and then I'm right there on you.
They can either follow you or lead you.
Oh my goodness. It's either way. It's not a stingy arrangement. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a stingy artist. I leave lanes for people to create on the spot. I don't want you to be so stuck to where you feel like you have to play this certain song this way and
Mm-hmm.
you can't go, right or left. You can make sure that you hear what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and then be able to still come together and then take it by storm.
So with that being said, and this is just an assumption, um, your band mates, they can read and also hear.
I make sure that they can. I don't like bandmates that can't read because if I've been known for those friends that remember me when my I got my humble beginnings, I used to carry charts.
Mm-hmm.
I carried charts with me just in case that there's a song that the band needed me to sing or somebody would say, "Hey, do you know this song? Blah 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 blah." Hold on for a second. Oh yeah, I have the chart for that. And the keyboard player would be like, "Let me see," and then he can then say, "Okay, here are the chord changes," and that's very important for me, and that
Gotcha.
has something to do with my mother spoiling me. Yes.
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. That's dope.
If they
I
can't read music, I can't deal with you. Because then I got to hear you doing one of these numbers, putting the phone to your ear, talking
see
about some hold on for a second, or better yet, hitting the transpose button, interrupting my
a hit dog gonna holler, and I'm a holler because
okay.
I've learned to read a little, not a
Well,
lot. I learned to read a little, but most of it is I'm like, let me hear that song real quick. I listen
right,
to
right,
it.
right, right,
I can
right.
listen to it one good time, maybe twice, and then okay, cool. All right, got you. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's something I need to work on now because I've always wanted to be fluent in reading music. Honestly, I truly do.
Another
So,
language.
that part. And speaking of language, how many do you speak?
Well, not anymore, but it was
Um,
Spanish was real strong. French was okay.
mm,
Patois, we know we're gonna sing our native tongue. Um, anything you can bring me, I pretty much would learn. I learned how to sing in Spanish in high school. Thank you,
hmm.
Selena.
Yeah.
So she
Oh
was a
yeah.
fave, and hey, between singing all her tunes, listening to Gypsy Kings, listening to different gospel artists that spoke in English and or another language, I listened to world music growing up as a grammar school student, so
Yeah. You
it
didn't
was
have a
there.
choice. You didn't have
No,
a choice.
I really didn't. I went to a United Nations grammar school, so I
That
got
part.
very accustomed.
All around the world.
Thank you, Stevie Wonder, too. That's my other little shameless plug.
That
Growing up
part.
listening to his music, you do listen to other languages as well. He'll teach
Oh
you how to
yeah.
speak Swahili. He'll teach you how to speak Portuguese. He'll teach you how to speak Japanese.
Hmm. I learned some stuff from him too. I call Steven my godfather. He don't know it, but
He's your godfather, my daddy. So
right. Well, that make him my uncle then. I'll take that.
right, that's right.
Love me some Stevie, man. Love me some Stevie. All right. So, how do you balance personal expression with the business of music, especially in the spaces where women are often underrepresented?
Hmm. So wow. Well, I try to just represent being about my business and not being too much when I come on the gig.
Okay.
I have to just stick to my guns. When they want what they want. I'll give them what they want, and that's it. I can't talk about what mayor I don't like, what politician I don't like, or anything like that. I pretty much like to, keep my views to myself, and it's hard. It's
Hmm.
hard. I'm not even gonna lie.
I believe it. I believe it.
Because you do want to speak up on things that are definitely close to you, but
Hmm.
you don't want to get not called back.
That part.
So you don't want to be difficult.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to get that label. You don't want to get that difficult label. Yeah.
Correct.
And and people would definitely remember you too. It's like, oh yeah, that one. Oh no, because last time, yeah, no, we're not doing that anymore. So you don't want that. Um, what advice would you give to young girls or women who are just starting their musical or artist journey?
Get a team. Get a team. Know what you want to do. Know who you are. Know what music you want to do. Um, have a plan.
Hmm.
Um, don't be afraid to mess up. Be healthy. Pray. Uh, and have a support system. That's important. If you want to
That's
be an
right.
artist, it's not for the faint-hearted. Love who you are
Yeah,
and don't let anybody tarnish who you are.
definitely. I love it. I love that. So let's switch lanes real quick because you are an educator that you mentioned earlier. So, as someone who lives a full creative life outside of school, how do you bring that energy and passion into the classroom or the environment? I know you're just naturally full of life anyway, but what what are some things that you would do in particular to engage your students?
I'm transparent and I'm real with my students. I don't
Hmm.
try to be that teacher that comes down on them like a ton of bricks, but I come with accountability. I come with tough love, but I also come with stories, tell them about different things that have happened,
Hmm.
not afraid to explain things that they don't understand. Um, the media has definitely painted a picture that being an artist is more glam than work. And I
Hmm.
don't like it because they make it look easy. They make it look like all you got to
And
do is slap on some makeup, get some weave, get a cute outfit, and you can
yeah,
jump up here and you can. No, auto tunes doesn't help talent. Somebody said that once. So if you're talented, you should be able to like flat foot sing without any like mechanics on your voice.
no studio magic.
Please and thank you. No studio magic. It's
And they
awful.
and they pump them out like crazy.
Yeah, they
Pump them
do.
out
And
like
it's giving
crazy.
it's sending a false hope
Hmm.
because when somebody says to sing and you're standing live and something all of a sudden happens to your mic, you're like, what happened? You know. But you want to make sure that you're prepared.
Yeah.
You're prepared. You have to be.
So your students know about your career in music?
They do. I don't
They do.
I don't really like talk about it, but when they find out and it's like, "Oh my God, this is Miss Winston singing," or "Oh my God, do you know she's on iTunes or on YouTube?" And it's like, yeah.
And see, and that's the next question I was gonna ask. I was like, so when how do they respond, and does it open doors for deeper connections or mentorship? Or is it like you said, is it more like, please don't look at me, or
So, one student asked me, well, if you do all of that, why are you here teaching?
Mm,
And I had to
that's
tell
good.
my student, like, what does that mean? Well, if you saying you go around the world and da 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 da, da, why you here?
Yeah.
Because I want
Yeah.
to be here.
And then too, they don't understand it's not that easy.
No, they
Like
don't
you said.
understand being a full-time musician can sometimes get you evicted. Yeah. Sometimes being a full-time musician makes you not eat and put
Yeah.
gas in your tank. And people want to talk about, oh, it's for exposure. I'm Grammy nominated. What do you mean exposure? I need money to.
Let's talk about that real quick. Your Graham nomination. And that was with the group Mask.
Yes.
Let's talk about how that came about. I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna hit that, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Cameron Jarman is the brainchild behind it. It was an idea that he wanted to have. He comes from a very large musically inclined family. They grew up in Fellowship Baptist Church in Chicago.
Hmm.
And one thing led to another. They're like the, OGs of gospel. Cameron Jarman is a well-known drummer. His brother Wilbur was a guitar player, and
Hmm.
Wilbur and Jarman were part of Mask, and he started asking everybody else that he knew, and he asked Andrea Love, myself, Vanessa Ford,
Hmm.
Eva Fullerton, and Corinne Frank, who wrote a song. He is the one that sounds like a Chaka Khan meets like Jill Scott type gospel
Oh, okay.
song that is like really, really, really jazzy. We were ahead of our time, and
Hmm.
we didn't really we did the best we could, but things back then were a little different. Social media wasn't as prevalent, if not prevalent at all. And so we got a chance to make it. And the Project Mask 811 got a chance to, it got Grammy nominated.
Yeah, that's dope.
Gospel jazz. And it was an honor to be part of that horn section, guitar,
Mhm.
bass, keyboards, Pierre Walker from Philadelphia, who was a kick behind organist that can make an organ sing. Self Black, who was on keys, well known all over, was wonderful, and we had a good time, and it was live recorded, and so the Grammys decided, he was like, yeah, that's it right there, and so that was an honor to be part of that.
Hmm.
So young as I was, but a part of that and didn't know that I was going to get somebody to reach back for me to say, hey, I want you to become part of this. And that's
Yeah.
how it normally is. Your work ethic, your talent definitely comes across. And then people's like, hey, I want you, I want you, I want you. So I'm very blessed to say that my reputation speaks for itself, and I don't take it lightly. And
Hmm.
I'm very fortunate, very humble that humble that I get that call, like Kendrick Lamar says.
That part. And that's another aspect too, as far as mentoring your students, that your name should mean something, and your words and your work ethic should mean something. Because like you said, we're this is a popcorn generation. Everybody wants everything like right now, and you've got so many of these artists out here who aren't lasting, for one, because they don't have the work ethic, or two, they don't have the right attitude, you know? Um, and it's just not working. So I think that's great that you said that, because it's extremely important for your work ethic to speak for itself. That's worth more than gold.
Oh, they
So
look at it.
yeah, yeah, they do.
Coming to sessions on time, coming to the gig on time. If the gig is at 6 o'clock, you shouldn't be walking in the door at 6. You should be in place by 5:30. You
Yeah.
should.
I already be setting up. Trust me, I know having to go in, set up the drums, help set up the microphones, help do this, be there for a sound check, all that type of stuff. You can't do that at 6 o'clock on the dot. You got to get in there early and do what you
The
got to
drummer
do.
has the most stuff. I mean, nowadays we can't even say who has the most stuff and who doesn't because you got amps, you've got, kick drums, you've got cymbals, you've got basses, you've got amps, you've got um racks, you've got,
Yeah,
stools, you've got rugs, you've got a lot of things. Everybody has
that's a
something to
lot.
bring. So
That's a
if you
lot.
get there early, you don't have to be running around rushing, talking about some and it gives you a chance to breathe. These young kids don't, they want to come to the gig smelling like weed and, they don't
Oh,
know their
God, yeah.
music and they putting the phone up to their ear and you should have had this music learned already and then get mad when you don't get paid all your money at the end of the night because the client's looking at you like,
Right,
you know.
right.
So that's what we have to, and that's why I wish that we can go back and reteach some things because I think the church kids got it, but now these new news are coming up and they don't got it.
They don't.
And the
They
disconnect
don't.
is so bad. So now it's if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna leave your Sunday and I'm not gonna play for you on Sunday when it's not about necessarily the money, but you
Hmm.
there for the money. But how are we there? Are we here for praise and worship and me to, lead the Lord in, or is it because,
That
we're not
part.
having those conversations?
No, not. And with that, it's about, discipline. Um,
Integrity,
you
discipline, accountability.
definitely, because you have some musicians every Sunday they working at 3 or 4 churches, and it's like, okay, let me come in and let me play with you all. But can you have my check ready for me right after offering? Because I gotta dip out because I gotta go to the other church, and then they go to the other church and do the same thing and copy and paste and repeat, and it's like, all right, bro. I've seen that, and I know you've seen that. And
Yeah,
it's like you got to commit somewhere, because that can be taxing on the church, that could be taxing on the ministry, and the pastor could be up or what have you. The spirit is flowing, and you over there playing, but you looking at the clock because I got to get to this
you gotta
bag
you
at the
gotta
other
go.
church.
You gotta go. So if you didn't
You
have that
back it up.
discussion before you got there, we're not doing that.
That
We're
part,
not.
or is can you give me my check before church? Seen all of that. All right, so here is my last and final question, and thank you so much for doing this with me today. What does it mean to you personally to close out Women's History Month on Mental Motivations, and what message would you like to leave for our listeners?
I would like your listeners to know that God is real. Keep God in your life first and foremost. Pray. Get that scripture in your mind, in your heart, body, and your soul. Women's Month, we have to do continuously to do better, uplift one another, have mantles like this to motivate one another because I know that these times are difficult and not even saying that these times are difficult. We as a body have to take care of each other.
Yes.
Um, definitely that. Um, love who you are and give yourself grace and take one day at a time. And if there is a gift that you want, or if there's something that you want to do, don't stop until you get it right.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Jocelyn, thank you so much for helping Mantle Motivations close out Women's History Month. This has been an amazing interview. I've had so much fun talking to you, as always. You know you're one of my faves. You know it. You know it. One of my favorite people in the world. But again, thank you so much for this. Um, Again, closing out Women's History Month with a bang, speaking to you, talking
Yes.
about everything you've done, all of the amazing icons that you've worked with, and you being iconic in your own right. So, thank you, ma'am. I heard that.
God is good. And
And
there's plenty more to go. I'm not done yet.
I heard that. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So,
Yes.
as we close out, I always like to say, to my audience, don't forget your crown may be tilted, but never ever let it fall. Peace and love.
Oh man, it's over already? Well, time flies when you're having great conversation. Hey family, thank you so much for tuning in to Mantle Motivations Podcast. I hope Jocelyn Winston's story inspired you as much as it inspired me. I truly enjoy hearing about all of her endeavors, and I can't wait to see what she does next. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss an update or a dose of motivation. Until next time, stay lifted, stay grounded, and keep walking in your purpose.
Less, I better get it.